welcome to Above All Else, a podcast for women who are looking to grow in their relationship with Jesus. I am Brianna Frajowski here with Emily Bird and Jen Kish, and we are back. And we actually have some really exciting news that will launch next Friday, and so we don't want to give away too much, but you can check out our Facebook post or page, and on Friday you will have all of the information and all of the exciting things that we are going to be sharing. But we are back. It has been several months. We were just talking about the length of time, and so it's been a hot minute, but it is good to be back. And Emily, what has been going on in the birdhouse? Or not going? I mean, like, let's be honest, there's been stuff every day. So,
Oh no. There's been a lot that has happened in the last few months. One of our last podcasts, I had talked about Adeline. She's graduating college and, she's coming back home and we're looking for jobs. Well, she has moved to Virginia. So she is doing I have a bird that has flown the nest. And your house just looks different when everybody's not there. And even though she's been at college and she's done her things, it's just different now. And so anyway, she's doing her first big girl job and she's engaged and is getting married this spring. And so we're in the midst of the wedding flurry. And it's been really, really sweet. So I just ordered my mother of the bride dress today. And I have found out that these dresses make you look like you're 80 years old. So I'm ordering a bridesmaid's dress that doesn't look so old. Oh my goodness. But here we survived Hurricane Helene. It hit Augusta terribly hard. Cleanup is still happening. We still have friends who have holes in their roofs and things are tarped. It is still disaster area down here. But we made it, and I have a daughter who graduated from cosmetology school. She's just passed her first test of licensure today. She's got one more left in a week and a half. And anyways, I'm homeschooling, teaching at classical conversations, and very involved at church. And
so really nothing, right? So
no,
you're knitting. Laying on the couch.
Yeah, really nothing going on. Is what it sounds like.
I have to be honest with you. Jason Bird and I laughed. This past Saturday is the first movie that we have watched together in like 7 months.
Wow.
7 months.
Wow.
Like we have sat down to watch a movie and then we've fallen asleep and it takes like 3 weeks to finish it. But it's our first movie in 7 months that we've watched from beginning to end. I was like, So yeah, we're busy. That was a really long explanation.
No, that makes me feel so much better about the fact that we have not recorded in 7 months because it's like, well, he lives in your house and you haven't watched a movie with him in 7 months. So it makes me feel a little bit better. Like, okay.
I'm not feeling as neglected as I was.
Right.
I didn't even make time for a movie with Jason.
No.
Oh man,
we are all busy girls. We are all busy girls.
Yeah.
What about you, Jen? What's been going on?
Yeah, so it's funny because you just mentioned it. I had kind of forgotten about my daughter being sick. The last day we were supposed to record, I had to cancel because she was sick. And that's been sort of a long, she's been well for a while, but she's lost a lot of weight and we've been trying to gain weight and doing things to make her stronger. And she's an itty bitty little thing anyway. So, and so we've just been, we do the birthday slide at the end of the year. All of our kids have birthdays, or 4 of 6 have birthdays. So all of our babies just turned a whole year older. And so it's a weird season, Emily, because I feel like I'm kind of on your heels, with having our oldest now in college and doing really well there. And then of course our next one turns 17 next March. So very soon. And it just feels like it's in fast forward. So we spend most of our time now giving advice to young adults in our home rather than, changing diapers and making bottles that we did for years and years and years. So it's interesting to me how much more time, and people always told me, having small children is physically draining and having older children is mentally draining. Oh my gracious, is that true? Like it's always the conversations and nothing is a quick yes or no. It's just, it is very emotionally and mentally exhausting. It's so good. I mean, most of it is so good, but it just truly is. Um, it, it's different. It's very different. So we've been doing that, and my husband had a lot of time off over the holidays, so we had some family here and did some traveling, and I don't know. I was trying to think what I'd been doing, and I've been doing a lot of things, but I'm not really sure what. So, but here we are. Here we are
Yes.
back together again. So,
There we go. Yeah,
yeah.
it's been this I feel like that's the same though. Like there's a lot I've been doing. Like there's been so much going on constantly. Braylee started first grade. Kaylin's and living her best life in preschool. She's a whole hot mess. We're just praying for her. But she, they're doing their thing, and there was some time there where Braylee, we had to have some like testing and stuff done for her for school stuff and extra tutoring and trying to make sure that we were doing everything we could to help her. And so it meant like days we would leave school and then we'd go to tutoring for an hour and a half, so it's like it was just a lot. But yeah, school, which is work for me, I guess. Hanging out with sixth graders, which is fun. Like I love my sixth graders are so sweet this year. Like today, I'm just really quick. This one, we're learning how to solve for kinetic and potential energy. And one of them came up to me and he said, Ms. Fradosky, I'm going to lose my mind. And I was like, I think you're gonna be okay. And he like put his head on my arm, like he just like his forehead, like right here on my arm. And he said, I am not gonna be okay. And I was like, it's okay, friend. You're gonna be fine. Go sit down. Go. Come on, it's okay. We'll go figure it out together. So they're a lot of fun, but it's just been a lot of work and a lot of my sister's kids all play sports, and so we've been going to their sporting events, going and watching because I don't have time for my kids. Joseph said the other day, it's been so nice not having our kids play sports, so we're not at the fields for our own children all the time. I was like, yeah. But then I go to yell at my nieces and nephews because I can do that. I'm the obnoxious aunt that shows up at all the games. So anyway, I even have a baseball mama shirt, and I'm like, I am not his mom. That's not my kid. When he does something crazy, I'll accept him when when he's fighting the coach. I'm like, oh no, I don't know you. But anyway, it's been a good time. But this, I think, coming back into one with our big news, we're launching on Friday and gonna be announcing on Friday. I think now is a good time to kind of reset. I don't want to say reset. I feel like that's a bad word because not a bad word, but I feel like reset's the wrong word. I'm trying to think of y'all. My brain is shot. Like, I've been solving kinetic energy problems all day. I'm so sorry. I think we talked about encouragement, right? Like, what is our encouragement for the new year? Once again, I don't think it's a reset, but I think it's like a striving forward. Like, how is the Lord pushing?
Kickstart.
There you go. Like, how is a kickstart? How is the Lord kickstarting us this year? Thank you. Literally, like, words are not happening today. As my students say, Ms. Fradosky, today the words are just not wording. I'm like, that's it. And so, I know we're 17 days, 16 days. I don't know what day we're on. What day are we on? The 16th.
17.
17th. Okay. Whoops. The 17th. And, sometimes people do a word of the year or the Lord will just reveal, verses and things like that. So, I think maybe today we're just going to kind of talk about how the Lord's encouraging our hearts so far, so that we can hopefully encourage those who are listening. And, because we're all, as everybody has heard, like we're all busy moms. We're all busy doing different things, different seasons of life. You know, like Kaylin apparently just pooped her pants. So we're still in that diaper changing stage, you know? And so with all of that going on, how is the Lord encouraging us so that we can encourage other people? Because that's ultimately what we do, and that's why we have this platform. So Emily, what would you say the Lord has just been speaking to your heart over the past little bit?
Um, there's a few things, but the ones that stand out in my mind are the word that has continually been on my tongue since it's actually since probably the beginning of December is faithful. And he is showing me over and over and over how he is so faithful. And I find myself daily throughout, I mean, multiple times daily, reminding him that he's faithful and telling him he's faithful and thanking him for his faithfulness. I've got some dear friends who are going through some really, really, really tough times right now. They tragically lost a son, and I find every day that I'm asking him to show me his faithfulness and to show them his faithfulness, and thanking him for showing me how he's meeting their needs. So faithfulness is not only my word I have for the Lord this year, but I also want to be faithful and to just exemplify that characteristic in my life and the way that I treat every obligation that I have. I want to be faithful and I want to be loyal, but I also, more than anything, I want to be faithful to the Lord in all things. I don't want to be if he's leading me to something, I want to be faithful to be obedient. And I've had to make a really big decision recently. And I had thought about this for a while, but then was presented with, and I'll call it an opportunity, but it's a big opportunity that I don't feel equipped for. But you know, when people come up to you over and over, and people who don't even realize that you're praying about a certain matter, but and these are wise people that you know you can trust. I've practiced for a long time just surrounding myself with wise people. You know, I've always told my girls, you need to be careful to make sure that you are walking with the wise and that you're not a companion of fools. I try to follow that myself, and I know that the wise listen to advice, and that plans, they fail for the lack of wise counsel. So with many advisors, plans succeed. So it is important to surround myself with wise people. And so some of these wise people that I've surrounded myself with have encouraged me to, like, Emily, these are your strengths. And so, when you hear somebody say something over and over, and you can trust their counsel, I'm like, Lord, why do you keep bringing these messages to me? Well, fast forward to just last week, and how you begin to pray over things, and then it's like, oh God, I know why you're putting these people in my path, because you're bringing me here. And so he's provided a opportunity, and I can't say what it is yet, so because it's not been let out, but it gets me out of my comfort zone, and I don't feel like I'm equipped. And so out of fear, I'm like, Lord, I don't think I can do this, because I'm inadequate, and I'm less than, and I'm giving him all the excuses of why I can't do it. And then just this past Saturday, I'm so grateful. He had me in Joshua 3, and they're getting ready to cross over the Jordan River into the promised land. And he puts the priest in the front, and he says, I'm going to stop the Jordan River, but you've got to step into the river. You've got to step into the river first. And the devotion I was reading he said, why did God have them do that? Now, I know I've read in commentaries that the river is at flood stage at this point. You don't step into flood waters. It will sweep you away. But God instructs these priests, here they're carrying the Ark of the Covenant, to step into the water. And as I read that question, why does he have you do this? Is it because he's waiting to see if you have faith? Do you have faith? Do you trust what he says he's going to do? And even though I'm praying, Lord, I need you to move. I need you to move. I need you to do this. He's just waiting for me to step forward. And so as I'm praying, Lord, move, my feet are planted firmly on dry ground. And so, you know, he's waiting for me to step out in faith. I need to be faithful. So my word this year is faithful, but it's also the word for today is take action. You got to go forward. And so I'm telling you, once I finally, it's like, God, I know you're telling me, you're leading me to say yes. And he's confirmed in his word over and over and over. And I've given him all the excuses of why I can't. I've been the Moses that I can't speak well, or I've been the Jeremiah, I'm too young. He tells me in Isaiah 43:3, he says, oh, you are loved. You are precious in my sight, honored in my sight, and I love you. He's going to be with me. So whatever the encouragement I have for you today and for me myself is sometimes we just have to step out in faith, knowing that he is faithful and he's going to do what he said he's going to do, that we can hold unswervingly to the hope that we possess because he who promised is faithful. That's our verse for above all else, Hebrews 10:23. So we know that the Lord is faithful, and whatever he's guiding you to do it, knowing that he is holding you, he's walking with you. And if we're going to see him move, then we've got to step forward in faith. And knowing that he is a big, big God who can use little inadequate me to do mighty things. And I just can't wait to see how he is going to show up, because he knows that I am weak. But his grace is sufficient. So I'm so excited at what he's going to do. And I just know that he's faithful and that he can be trusted. And I can't wait to see how he's going to show up and show off this year. So that's how he's working in me right now.
So I would never ask you to spill beans that are not supposed to be spilled, but I will just say I don't watch Netflix shows until the whole season is out for this very reason. Now I'm like on the edge of my chair, like, what
I
is
know.
happening?
Oh, you know what? It's not a big deal to anybody else. It's
No.
a big deal to me.
This is
Oh, then that makes
officially-
it a big deal to
I was
us.
gonna say, this is officially the biggest deal of my life. What are you
Right.
talking
We're
about?
your whole fan club right here.
What are you talking about, Emily? This is
This is the
officially
Emily Bird Show now. Welcome to
priority
the Emily
number
Bird Show.
one.
Stay tuned, because you're going to be so disappointed when you find out.
Listen, this is where I'm at right now. I'm just like, okay, I'm just on the edge. You're like, I can't wait to see how the Lord's gonna be. I can't wait to find out what it is he's gonna do. What in the world?
Oh, well, it is
No.
not a big deal to anybody else, but it's a big deal to me. And it's such a big undertaking that I just don't feel like I can do it. And I know in my own strength I can't, but he has so encouraged my heart. Emily, I am the power behind you. You are not in the driver's seat. I'm in the driver's seat. You just have to trust me for the ride. I will use you. And I'm just so encouraged, and it just makes me happy.
Yay.
He has never failed me, and he won't start now. He's just so good. So I'm really excited.
Well, you'll have to let us know when we can know.
I will.
When the beans can be spilled and the cat can be let out of that bag. You'll have to let us know, because we're anxiously anticipating.
It is small beans to everybody else, but to me it was big beans. I'm just excited. But I'm more excited at the very, very big God that we serve. And he's he is a God who does impossible things. So it's good.
Yay. Well, that is exciting, and we are excited for you, whether you think it's small or not. It's a big thing because the Lord's using it. So he doesn't do small things. He does big things.
No, he doesn't.
So Jen, what about you? What is the Lord showing you, kind of revealing to you? Oh, we cannot hear you, Jen.
Sorry, I muted
you're-
myself because I was really excited about Emily. And anyway, yeah, well, when Emily was talking, so I don't have a word for the year, which is kind of, I always do. This year, I don't have anything. But the entire theme of my life is that the Lord is faithful.
Mhm.
And I mean, I can't think of a better word ever. Like, I probably should just assign the word faithful to the rest of my life, because that's just it. Exactly.
That's where I was last year.
Yeah, yes. And it's where I find myself over and over. And Emily, when you brought up faithfulness, you said some things. I had just written a post and I haven't written an article in months. But the other day, I don't even know what day it was. It says 3 days ago. But I just was, this is really about my husband. I was just struck for a moment about Jared and I have been together almost 26 years this year. 25, yeah, 26 years. So I guess we're getting old. But we've only been married for 20 years, but we've been together for a long time. But I just thought about um, every day he gets up, he puts his boots on, and he goes to work. And the next day he does it again and again and again. And I know that this is the story of everyone's life, right? But it just struck me in a whole new way that I think that as a culture, we've become so obsessed with like the next big thing. We have these pop-up stars, right? These overnight internet sensations or viral moments, or, these like just celebrities that pop up in your next door neighbor because of social media. And I thought about how we as a culture grab so tightly to those things and we just waiting for the next big thing that we've kind of lost sight of, man, the faithful,
Mhm.
the man that just puts his boots on every day and goes to work to provide for his family, or the Sunday school teacher who's taught for 30 years, and it's just, you think it's just 9-year olds, she's just teaching 10 9-year olds year after year after year, but man, how the Lord has multiplied that faithful ministry. And sometimes I think our minds go to big beans, as Emily called them, things, people on stages or the preacher or people in those viral moments, and we think that those moments are exceptional and outstanding, but those are really just like a flash in the pan. I mean, I've had, and this isn't about me, but I've had pieces go viral, and a lot of times I find out a piece has gone viral and I'm like scrubbing my toilet, like people are like, wow, that's amazing, and I'm like, I'm still just here cleaning my toilet, like it's never as glamorous as it seems. But just the faithfulness of somebody who gets up and serves their family or serves the church or meets with the Lord, I think that is why the Bible says over and over to be faithful.
Mhm.
And we'll never be as faithful as God is to us. I consider his faithfulness so often because, and I always see it sort of with my failure. It's always when I know that I have failed to be faithful that I recognize just how faithful he actually is.
Mhm.
And again, just to mention, like this new season that we're in, it's so funny because at our dinner table every night now, my daughter, our oldest daughter, she's got a pretty serious boyfriend. And she's like, okay, so how much did it cost to make this meal? So like she's trying to add up and trying to see, how much it would cost her if she started cooking. And I'm like, well, you see, this is how much it costs us to make it. But when you're just cooking for 2 people and not 8,
Mhm.
this meal would last you a whole week, for a very little bit of money. Um, but as we're sort of giving out that advice, my husband and I, Jared, we've kind of been recounting our early days and about how, initially with the first baby, you wonder how you'll buy things for the baby. How will you buy the baby's furniture, and how will you buy it food, and how will she be cared for? And you just start to see as you look back over 26 years. It's going to make me emotional, and I didn't want to cry on the first day back. But you just see, like, year after year, the Lord's provision from the impossible. Like, we have blocks of years that are impossible.
Mhm.
It's like our Red Sea. Who's gonna part this sea? We've got to get across. Who's gonna part this sea? And the Lord comes in and parts the sea, or you step your foot in and you trust him and he makes a way. And so that's sort of what we've really been leaning into at our dinner table is, hey, you guys can make these plans. Life's not going to go how you plan it.
Mhm.
You know, you can budget and you can save the best you can, and you can say, well, we're going to go do this and we're going to work here and we're going to live here. But the Lord, I mean, there's always another plan that causes us to lean into the Lord. And man, I'm going to tell you, the thing that I am most grateful for in my life are the moments where I could not,
Mhm.
period, where it wasn't Jen. Jen couldn't save it. Jen couldn't fix it. Jen couldn't solve it. It was those moments when you have to depend so that you get to see the Lord come in and you get to see the Lord's faithfulness. And then you realize, hey, I can't do tomorrow or the next day or the next moment or the next breath unless the Lord steps in and does a work here. And those are moments I never thought I would be grateful for. But looking backwards, when you can kind of see things from this perspective, it's just incredible how the Lord is so faithful to draw us to Him and show us what He can do and renew our minds and change our ability to have faith and to trust because we've seen Him do it before.
Mhm.
And that's worth something. That's worth sharing. And that's worth recording, paying attention to what the Lord is doing so that you'll know when He was faithful.
Yes. And so, one of the verses that popped in my head just now was in Habakkuk when they say, like, write it down and so they can run with it. Like, so they can run and they can tell the generations, write down all the things so that they can go. Because that's the point of it, right? It's not, the Lord doesn't want us to just, Him to display His faithfulness in our lives and us be like, oh man, you were so faithful. Thank you so much. And then just not share that with anyone, right? Like, that's not the point. And so, obviously, that's why we do what we do here, right? Because we have seen His faithfulness and we've seen His goodness in our lives. And we've had those, those seasons, those seas where we're like, yeah, I can't cross this, Lord. Like, this is all you. And I agree, Jen. I know I'm in a place where, the things that used to be like, Lord, I don't understand why you did that. Still, I might not understand. Like, I'm still not claiming to understand why some of the things went the way they went, other than it was so that my reliance and my dependence was shifted from my abilities, which are not very many abilities, straight to a God who is faithful and can do exceedingly and abundantly more than I could ever dream or think or anything like that. And so I love that you said that because I agree completely with just that. And I think sometimes it's hard to have that thinking when you're in that season. It's really hard to have that thought. But going into, as I have gone into more of those seasons, right, I can look back. I can, at the, I don't want to say altar because I'm not trying to, but the Israelites, they made stones of remembrance. They put up altars so they would remember, so that when they were in these seasons, they could look back and say, okay, you were faithful then, you're going to be faithful now. And so I think that that's something that last year was really, the word faithful was, I said it's just the word for my life, kind of like Jen said last year, or well, I said last year what Jen said just a minute ago, that was just kind of my word for my life at this point, not my faithfulness, but His faithfulness. But this year I have a new word that I have not decided, the Lord just kind of was like, here you go, pay attention. And that would be to abide, because I think He's like, okay, listen, I'm faithful. I'm faithful. Like, here we are. I'm very faithful. You're not so much, but I'm very faithful. And so I started with this year. I'm doing a study through like an in-depth study through the Sermon on the Mount. And so the first week it was just the first 5 Beatitudes. And so just breaking, going in depth into each one of them. And even in those, like the word abide is not in in any of the Beatitudes. However, as I saw a progression through them, like it starts with, blessed are these because of this, and then blessed are this because of this. And it continues to go on, but every single one of those builds upon the other one. So once you get to blessed are the pure at heart, like you've already decided that you're humble. Like you are not decided you're humble. Like you can't just make that decision. It's the Lord that humbles you. But there's so many things, but without abiding, without truly dwelling in His presence daily, you're not going to, I I think of it like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So you have like your physiological needs, and then you have your physical need, like, just all these needs. And so it's like, okay, listen, if I want to be this person, this disciple of Jesus who is one of the ones that got me the most was the meek ones, like the blessed are the meek. That's That was not me. So, I mean, that's what I'm working on. We're working on it. And don't tell Joseph, but working on being quick to recognize fault. But don't tell him that I said that, because don't tell him. I'm just kidding. I've been praying about that. But that's just kind of where I've been, because if I want to be this disciple of Jesus that has the characteristics, because the Beatitudes are like, they're what Jesus did, they're characteristics of Jesus. And if I want to look like Jesus, that's where I have to start, but I have to start with abiding in him. So if I want to be faithful, like Jesus has been faithful to me, which I will fail him daily, and I'm not setting myself up to give myself an excuse. Like, that's not me saying, oh, well, I'm just gonna give myself an excuse. I'm not Jesus, and I know that I'm gonna get mad in traffic, and I know I'm gonna react the way I shouldn't react in a certain situation. Grace for that. But if I want to look more like Jesus, and I want to be faithful like he has been to me, then that starts with abiding in him. And it started with the Sermon on the Mount, and then Joseph preached the first 2 Sundays of the year, and he never tells me what he's preaching on. Like, he won't tell me. All he told me was, I need you to make me a tree. What? So I had to make a tree at 9:30 on a Saturday night. So let me tell you what pastors' wives are doing at 9:30 on a Saturday night: painting cardboard in their kitchen because their husband needs a tree. Anyway, I'm not an arts and crafts teacher either, so it looked like Kaylin had made that tree, but he got a tree. So, but I had no idea what he was going to be preaching on, because he doesn't tell me. He's like, well, show up on Sunday and you'll find out. I'm always there, but anyway. But he was preaching on John 15. And so I am the vine, you are the branch. Like, you abide in me, or you abide in me. And I was like, okay, Lord, so that's another time I'm hearing this word. And so I think the Lord has just been reiterating. And then he did like a part 2 the next week. And I was like, okay, I get it. Thank you so much. And so that's really been my thing this year, or so far. I mean, we're 17 days in, but that's just been the thing that's been really heavy on my heart, is just abiding in him. And if to truly be faithful like he is faithful, I have to start there. And so that's just kind of been my thing, but I fail at it, and I'm learning, and I'm praying every day that the Lord will make me meek and humble. And I learned that meek does not mean that you can't have a personality. So there we go. I was like, I'm very concerned about this, but it's okay. It's all right. Because I didn't know what I was going to do about that. But
can I plug one thing?
I wish you would. Yes, go ahead.
So we were talking about, was that on the podcast or before we started, that we were talking about spending time with wise people?
On the podcast, Emily.
Okay, good. Okay, I couldn't remember if that was in the conversation before we pressed play. So surrounding yourself with people who are wise is huge. But as far as your faith, my pastor said something a couple weeks ago that I wrote down, and he said, faith matures when we hang out together. And I think that's so true. I was saying before that I learned so much from this podcast. And I also, I love how I know you ladies so well, in the way that we do this. I know your favorite verses, and and now I'm attributing, when I say a verse, I think of you. Like I said that before we did press record, but especially there's a couple that Emily says over and over, and when I hear them, I not only think about what the verse is saying, but I also think of Emily. I just changed your name to Melanie. I don't even know any Melanies. But I love that phrase, faith matures when we hang out together. And so, that is one of the reasons that we're doing this. We're here together learning and our faith is growing. And I have more faith because I see what the Lord has done in Emily's life and what he's doing in Brianna's life and by extension, what he's doing in our kids' lives. And we share that. So the people listening, like you guys that are here with us, listening to us, we're so grateful for you and that you're part of this because your faith does flourish in community, and we want this to be a community for you. We want you to come in here and feel like you're part of the conversation. So I hope that you will continue to listen and that your faith is matured as ours is, as we're just kind of in this process together of seeking out things of the Lord. And that's my hope for the podcast.
I love that so much. And I think that is perfectly what we all, when we individually and then together sat down at the beginning of this over a year ago at this point. Like, how crazy is that? When we sat down and we're like, hey, listen, we want to do this thing and we don't know what it's supposed to look like and we don't know what's going to happen, but we're trusting that the Lord's going to do it. And he's going to, we are not podcasters. What are we? But the Lord has used it. And I think that perfectly sums up each of us and our prayer for this podcast and our prayer for each of the listeners. And we are just so thankful to be back. We are happy to be back. We're excited to be bringing you new episodes, and honestly just to get to hang out with you two again, because I've needed it in my life. Like, it's just a refreshing for the soul. And so we are just so excited, and we cannot wait to get together again. Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you for being a part of our lives. Really, I mean, just kind of bringing you into a little piece of our lives. And you can reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram. And again, remember the very exciting announcement we're going to be making on Friday. So check out our Facebook profile, and we will be. I'm excited about that one, but I know the answer to that one, so it's not as exciting as being excited for Emily, because I know what that one is. I just get excited when I don't know things. I'm like, oh, a surprise. I love this. So anyway.
I'd be so disappointed.
I promise you could tell me that you are getting a new cat, and I would be like, that's the most exciting thing I've ever heard in my life. I could not, just because you're so excited about it. Like, I feel excitement for you. So
Good.
But we are just excited to be back. So thank you guys so much for listening today, and we will talk to you guys later.